Welcome back to Horror Hat Trick, which I think is what we're calling this. Because this guy over here, and this is Jason. I'm Justin.
Happy birthday!
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And so it is my birthday, and in celebration we are doing movies from 1978. So 3 movies, 1978. We had a lot of really great movies to choose from.
Yeah,
we chose 3 movies to choose from.
They came out in '78.
They all came out in
fit the criteria.
We could have picked Jaws. We could have picked something that was, a seminal film of '78. I chose none of those things. Yeah.
I gotta correct you. Jaws did not come out in
'78? No.
No.
Jaws 2?
Jaws 2, maybe. I think Jaws 2 was '79.
Okay.
Yeah,
I did a quick Google. I saw like the first tier
Coma
of movies.
came out in '78.
Saw the first tier movies. I was like, nope, none of those.
Yeah.
Going for the second tier of films. So we have 3 films for you today. Jason, tell them about the 3 films.
All right, we've got The Fury.
Came out in 1978.
Came out in '78. We've got Long Weekend, and we've got Martin.
Yes.
3 movies. I'd seen The Fury before, but I blocked it out. So 3 movies I'd never seen before. And after I watched The Fury, I've never seen The Fury.
3 movies I had actually never seen before. So I'd never seen any of these. I had seen the preview for The Fury just a few weeks before because I was just thumbing through what's out there. And
It's Brian De Palma, post-Carrot.
Yeah.
It's gotta be good, right?
And so it was a recommended film
Yeah.
for me. I saw it on there. I subsequently watched it for this, and it was interesting. But let's go back in.
It wasn't interesting.
Let's go back and talk about actually a more interesting film. We can talk about 1978's Martin.
Yes.
Which, when I was looking for Martin, if you're looking for Martin streaming, good luck because you're going to come out with, of course,
My Aunt!
Yes, which I loved.
It's terrifying.
I loved that show. I've watched probably every single episode at least a couple times.
I watched them all. Not a vampire.
No, and so Martin was I liked Martin. I didn't love Martin. I thought it was good.
So what's Martin about? Martin's about a vampire
Maybe.
in a crumbling urban environment?
Martin is about 1970s, early 80s depravity.
Sure, urban decay.
So, not only urban decay, but the serial killer.
We should say David Berkowitz was sentenced in 1978.
Yes, serial killers were all in the news. It was a big thing. 1970s, early 80s. Lots of serial killers and serial rapists and whatnot. Terrible things going on. And so this opens with a young man. We don't know if he's a serial killer, serial rapist, serial something. He instantly spots a woman on a train and decides to break into her train car and do something. And it's an intense scene.
It's gruesome, man. It's a really hard scene to watch.
It's pretty
So we should talk about Martin himself. Very baby-faced.
Yes.
He's looks like a really put upon young man. He does not have a
Quack Eye does not have the charm of
a Ted Bundy.
Or I would say a Keanu Reeves vampire.
Sure,
he does not look like the charming vampire. He just looks like some plain Jane guy.
Quiet little kid.
Breaks into a train car, a sleeping berth with this young one sleeping in there. She's not sleeping though. He thinks she's sleeping. Breaks in. She's in the bathroom. And so he has to hide behind the door. And from there, a very intense scene of him trying to inject her with some sort of formula to make her go to sleep. He just keeps repeating, "I want you to go to sleep." She fights back and screams and calls him all kinds of names. It feels very improvised, very natural. It's intense. As you said, it's very hard to watch.
It's really uncomfortable.
Please don't. want you to go to sleep.
because you don't want this to be happening.
No.
Her reaction is very natural. She's calling him names, she's cursing him, she's fighting back. And you're with her. You don't want this to happen to her, whatever he's got planned. And it was really hard to watch. There are, you also know in that scene that it's a low budget movie because she comes out of the bathroom and her face is covered in like some sort of cream. And then she starts to tussle with Martin and the cream's all gone.
Yes.
So I noticed stuff like that. But
there
then,
are many continuity errors in this film, I will say that.
But then it turns into like a quasi-rape, and then she's naked, and then he's on top of her, and then he's drinking her blood. And the whole thing is just like icky, and right away I'm like, what? I don't like this at all.
So, right there, I'll stop you.
Yeah.
We know right away he's drinking blood, that's what gets him off. He goes to stay then with his cousin / uncle, there's no real explanation, meets him at the train station. They start to go on their way, and for whatever reason, Uncle Cousin, we don't really know, starts laying into him, calling him Nosferatu, saying that he's a demon and that he will kill him after he blesses his soul. So it's...
Seems like a promising deal.
Vampire. First, I will save your soul. Then, I will destroy you.
Yeah, so there's not a lot there. And
It's a confusing setup. It is not set up in any way that you can understand.
No.
And usually, the balance is you don't want to tell too much in the beginning. You want to generate a sense of mystery. But I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? He's just following this old guy to a train, to a house. The old guy's giving him all these rules. Does he want to be cured? I'm like, is this a rehab center for vampires? Does he want to be cured? Is he really a vampire?
But why do we choose this movie? Because this movie was made by a seminal filmmaker.
George Romero.
So George Romero, coming off of a couple of great films, makes this film, which is, I think, is actually his most artistic film, the best shot film. If you look shot for shot in this movie, the lighting, the setups, the reveals, the way that it looks is beautiful. And that was the most interesting thing about this movie.
I don't know if I could go there. I mean, I think there are beautiful shots in Day of the Dead and Dawn of the Dead.
Yes, and I think, but this is in color. He uses multiple types of film. You can see it, throughout. There's a lot of handheld. There's a lot of first person that he uses to do a lot of slow reveals. I really like the look of the movie, which was, for me, the most interesting thing because I believe the main character has about 3 lines.
He doesn't talk a whole lot. I do think so. Romero is he's sort of hit or miss with me. He does great stuff, and then he does stuff. I feel like even in his worst films, he's imbuing his work with a sense of what's going on in the social world, right? Like he tries to put really important themes in his work. So even when he fails, it's a very noble failure, right? Sometimes you get Dawn of the Dead. Sometimes you get Planet of the Dead. Same filmmaker. Sometimes the balance is better than others. With Martin, I feel like he's really trying to subvert the vampire themes. He's doing a horror movie, but he's doing it in a really different way. So I appreciated Martin probably a lot more than I enjoyed it. I will say the pacing in the first half is really slow.
It is.
And then the pacing in the second half, I'm like, slow the fuck down. We could drill into this a little bit more. So I feel like there's a really good movie in Martin. I just feel like the way the story was told is really strange. Halfway through Martin, the old man, cousin, uncle, explains the family heritage and puts everything that would happen before in context. And it makes a little bit more sense, but it really wasn't...
Which should have happened early on in the film.
Yes,
which
it should have happened earlier.
Which I think will be a theme in all 3 of these films that we reviewed
They're
today.
told very, very strangely.
The telling of these tales, whether it's the editing or the writing, we can't really tell. I'm not privy to all that, but it's really uneven. Where in this movie, if they would have told it from the beginning, hey, we think you are a vampire. You need to come to our family, our family home, and we will cure you, or we will, forgive you, or whatever that setup is, right?
I can
and there's
the
the thing.
He's on the train. Someone says, "Where are you going?" I'm going to meet my cousin. He thinks he's going to fix me. That's all you need. That would a little bit would have helped me.
A little bit.
Because I'm like, am I watching a snuff film? Am I watching a porno?
He just shows up.
It just shows up and is super sleazy. He's like, just a young-looking innocent man not unlike Malcolm McDowell in Clockwork Orange,
Yes.
right? It's that same sort of innocent vibe.
And starts chasing a man in white.
Following him around. His cousin has a crazy name, and the house, and the rules, and he's a butcher shop, and he's got to deliver the meat. And then there's this weird thing with the housewife. She's driving him around, and she's like, hey, can you... So I sort of like the subversion of, usually vampires are chasing women around. In this movie, there is a lonely housewife chasing Martin around, and she keeps having these full-on conversations with him, and he just looks at her like a mute, and she loves that he doesn't talk.
Yes.
And eventually they're at a gas station, and she's like, hey, do you mind looking in the glove box and getting my little notebook? And he does, and and this woman is driving around with a huge dildo in her glove box.
Yes.
In the glove compartment, there's a little notebook in there. Thanks.
I watched that movie, and went, whoa. I had to go back.
I didn't see that at all.
Yeah, and it's like a giant dildo, like
I didn't see it at all.
like in her glove box next to a thing of pantyhose.
The biggest thing for me was that he doesn't talk at all, and no one in this movie finds it fucking creepy or weird.
No,
They just talk to him and talk at him and talk at him, and then yeah, whatever. You know, he doesn't talk back. Sure.
The housewife does say at some point to him how she loves that he doesn't.
It's like a cat. You're like the cat that I used to have. He used to look up at me with those same eyes.
And then he'd crap in her box.
Yeah. Then he'd shit himself.
He's there to deliver the meat, and this housewife is all over him, and he's never had this sort of relationship. He's never made the sex as he talks.
There's a lot of who was he calling, by the way? Did they ever establish who he was calling?
Yes. So early on, they established that there is a all-night talk show.
Okay.
That goes from 6 to 6. His cousin, sister,
and so he calls him frequently, and kind of spills the beans on himself. He talks about how he doesn't kill people, how someone died, but he didn't kill them. He talks about how he's not able to have the sex, the intimacy with women either asleep or alive. He talks about...
He's just saying creepy, rapey shit on the radio.
He's talking about...
And people are dying in the real world.
Really crazy shit.
And like, the radio station has to be able to trace these phone calls. Like he's on the radio and he's like, I'm a vampire and I do this, I do that, but I'm super careful. I'm like, bro, no you're not. You're on the fucking radio.
You're calling
telling everyone,
station.
confessing everything. So for a guy who doesn't talk at all, then inexplicably becomes alive on the radio, it was jarring. I mean, it was interesting, but it was jarring.
I had questions from our listeners as to how often this happens. I mean, every full moon, what?
I don't know. I lose track. Not all the time. That's not like in the movies either. I saw a movie once where it happened every night. Now that's crazy. Those movies are crazy.
Oh, so you mean to tell me all those movies aren't true, huh? Or what else isn't true? I mean, are you going to dispel any other myths, like getting back to your grave before sunup, or garlic?
It's all crazy.
It's all crazy. So you don't burn up to a crisp in the sunlight? Nothing like that?
Well, the sun bothers my eyes sometimes, especially when it's about time. When I get shaky.
Yeah, well, listen, Count, my sponsor's getting shaky, so I gotta take a break. Hang on a minute. Night-timers have been talking to the Count. Yes, a real, live, honest-to-goodness vampire.
It was, it was weird.
Yeah.
It didn't make a whole lot of sense. The movie progresses from there. Spoiler alerts, I think, from now on. It really speeds up in the third act. He starts going to town with the killings. Mm-hmm. So
there's an awesome...
early on, he's just knocking people out, knocks out a couple women, drinks their blood, they wake up later, whatever.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, he is breaking into homes in the middle of the night, and...
That scene is fantastic.
That scene really
so well
picks
done.
Up. So well done,
it
but
makes up for the
really
drag
speeds
before.
up. Suddenly the third act comes, and everything is 90 miles an hour from the moment he breaks into a home with two people inside, chases them down, injects both of them, injects the man multiple times, takes it just to the nth degree, and then from there, all of a sudden, killing multiple homeless people.
Well, he talks on the radio, he talks about how he's getting jittery and shaky and how he loses control and he wants to stay calm. When that home invasion scene is awesome because it sort of, again, subverts what you would expect. He's following a woman whose husband's out of town.
Yes.
So he's like, oh, she's going to be alone and vulnerable. No, she's there with her lover. She's cheating on her husband. And, why shouldn't she be? So there's this great cat and mouse who's got to knock people out, lock them in rooms, and he's totally in control, fucking with the phones, and he's just playing with these people, and he's totally cool and in control. Later, with the hobo scene, he's not in control. He's losing control. And he breaks into the Goodwill and sets off the alarm to change his clothes, and then he ends up into a Black Power meeting, maybe? Where they start shooting at the cops, and all of a sudden he stumbles into some other movie.
It seemed like there was like, I don't think it was Black Power, I think it was like, and they look at these folks early on. There seems to be some kind of like anarchist biker group that like exists in this universe. So he stumbles onto anarchist biker group.
And 60 anarchist biker group on the cops. Yeah. There's a whole movie there that he just wanders through and wanders out.
It was great.
I loved it, but like that was like 5-7 minutes of the movie.
It was so Blues Brothers-y. Yeah. Like there's suddenly cars like flying everywhere and people flying over cars and buildings.
We have not mentioned, Tom Savini is an actor in this movie. I'm assuming he's doing the special effects. He shows up as an actor.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is or what he's doing. He's just talking to the uncle, cousin, dad.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Sometimes you just want to, test out the waters, see if you want to be an actor.
It's good for Casina not to be married yet. She's young for her years. Maybe it's good for her never to marry. You know, we have a problem in the family. What? You've seen the boy Martin. Yeah. Oh, there's a problem.
And Martin has killed people in town.
Yes.
He's definitely killed people in town. And that was one of his uncle, cousin, brother, dad's rules, is you can't kill people in town.
And here's extra spoiler alert, where the end comes, which I love to hate.
I sort of enjoy it because it's
because there's no definitive nature in it. So suddenly, the uncle cousin wakes him up, says, "Hey, I told you couldn't kill people in town."
we got to tell his mistress killed herself. She was conflicted. Yes. She killed herself, and he's all like, "Hey, if she killed herself in the way that he kills his victims, he makes his victims look like suicide victims. She actually killed herself." It's an O. Henry moment, and then
uncle cousin wakes him up, says, "Hey, I said nobody in town."
Wakes him up with
a stake over his chest and a wooden mallet, and stabs it directly through his chest as he's in bed.
Nobody in the town. I heard about Mrs. Santini. You think I believe she killed herself? Do you really think I believe this? Your soul is damned. Nosferatu.
No one makes any noise.
It has its own sort of aesthetic and feel and otherworldliness.
The aesthetic was amazing. I would say the look of this film was great.
Yeah.
Very slow.
It's slow in the beginning. And then towards the second half, I'm like, did I miss something? I actually fast forwarded a couple times to be like, wait, is that really a dildo in her glove box? Like, wait, are we in the 1500s? 1700s? 1900s in the flashbacks? He's 80 years old flashing back to Middle Ages.
He tells most people that he's 80 years old.
Yeah.
But the flashbacks all look like it's, Mary Shelley time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on. This is...
But they could also be interpretations. He could be lying.
And that's,
I don't know.
That's what I'm getting with the non-definitive nature of the ending. If the uncle hit him through the chest with a wooden stake, I would hope that he would turn to ash, shoot up in flames, do something where I knew that he was a vampire. Now I just think either the uncle is crazy, or the whole family's crazy. Or...
I honestly think he's a vampire. I just don't think... My bigger problem is, like, you shouldn't be calling into a radio show. I mentioned this before off air, but Henry Hill, the mobster from Goodfellas, used to call into Howard Stern in the 90s. And my dad and I were like, how come this guy's a wanted guy? But this vampire's calling into a show saying, yeah, I like to make the sex with unconscious naked women and drink blood.
Well, then,
Trace that fucking phone call.
he went to go live with his cousin who said, I'm going to destroy you.
I'm gonna cure you. Yeah. Also, you gotta deliver the meat still only housewives in the neighborhood.
So get the fuck out of there. When you show up at your cousin's house and he's like, hey, you're a fucking demon vampire. I'm going to destroy you. Thanks, cousin. Thanks for
It was the
hospitality.
70s. 1978, everybody. Okay, so Long Weekend. It is a nature sort of catastrophe movie in the same vein. Like they were all over the 70s, right? Like the Kingdom of the Spiders. There was an Ants movie. There was a Toads movie.
Well, I don't think it was just in the 70s. It was since like the 1940s, the atomic age, people having all these ideas of nature's going to fight back
Right.
against man, and this shit's all going to go bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, husband and wife fighting, we don't really know why. It starts off, they're going to go on this road trip. They're going to go out to nature. Wife does not want to go out into nature.
No. And in the beginning, the wife is she's like a typical shrew. She's really bad to the dog, which always gets me in a movie. She wants to just leave like a pile of food for the dog. It'll be fine for a couple of days.
I got time for a shower.
You're the one that wanted to get away early.
Oh, well, is everything ready, is it?
Nearly.
Oh, well, I thought you were going to ask Mrs. What's-her-name to feed Cricket.
I didn't feel right about asking someone we don't even know to babysit your dog.
Well, I'll ask her.
She's not home. I don't think Cricket's going to starve to death. There's 3 whole cans of dog food there. She finishes that, she can go without. She's too fat anyway.
But the husband's also kind of an asshole, kind of not. And at one point, he says to his wife, they go into the woods, and he's like, I love you. I'm like, why? You guys don't belong together. This is a movie about people that don't belong together.
They write both characters very unsympathetically.
Right.
They write both characters very, they're very snippy, very snide. But here's the interesting thing, is there's a lot of foreshadowing that
Yes.
leads places and does not lead places. So as they go out on their road trip, it's right-hand drive out there.
Mm-hmm.
So he's driving the right-hand side, smoking a cigarette, flicks his cigarette out the window.
Starts fire.
We see that it starts a fire.
Doesn't come back.
Where does this come? There's foreshadowing. There's dangerous
Yeah.
music. There's a fire that has started.
Oh, there's heavy foreshadowing. He hits a kangaroo.
Hits a kangaroo again. Oh, what is going on? Oh, this is foreshadowing of an army of fucking angry kangaroos is going to come attack this man. I have no idea, but it's foreshadowing for something, but not really.
It is, because at the end of the movie, he gets hit by a car.
Yes.
That's how the movie ends.
Yes. Well, kid. You gotta say spoiler alert at least.
It's a 40-year-old movie. They're not going to watch it. So what I'll say about Long Weekend is they do a really good job with the bickering couple and their problems and relationship.
Yes.
So they sort of peel these things back slowly in a really smart way, so that they're not you're not on one couple's side, and they do a really good job of that. I thought the drama was excellent. I thought I
think you've spoiled the slow burn for all these folks, though, because in reality, as they get to this place, you don't understand, like, is this an alternative dimension that they've gone to? Because people say this beach doesn't exist.
Right.
But they find it. Is this other people out there that are going to attack them or whatnot? Because they find other
Cars.
people, there's another car that they see out there. So it's other people, it's just,
But there's other people.
because they hear screams, they hear howls and whatnot. Is this other people that are going to attack them? Or is this something in nature that's
Do you
going to
think this
attack
could
them?
be a Jacob's Ladder scenario where they
No,
died
no.
on a road and this is all happening later?
I think it's just a fun, slow burn because before you know what's happening, you think all these possibilities are possibilities.
Sure, and I think you make assumptions about the couple's relationship, and they sort of peel all that back.
There's a shark aspect. They
But
go
then
out to
there's
the
not
water.
a shark aspect.
They go out to the water. Is this a shark? No, it's not. So I love the slow burn aspect of this film. I did not like the way the film was made. I did not like the actors.
Oh, really?
I did not like the male actor was.
There's only
really,
2 actors in this movie, by the way.
The male actor was a real dick. I was not sympathetic towards him whatsoever. And the female actress was written like what is this, like the 1700s? Like she's just a goofy dame who can't figure things out on her own. Like it's just
He would
seems...
turn a switch in the car. He'd be like, "Ha ha! Now you can't drive the car away." I'm like, "Hey, I don't know. My wife knows more about cars than I do. She could probably figure this out pretty quickly."
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous how idiotic they make this woman out to be. So both of them are fairly.
They don't belong together. Can we admit they don't belong together? It's like watching friends that you know are going to break up one day.
Yeah.
Trying to make things work.
So
Like,
you're just
don't
like,
try to make it
fuck
work.
it. Let him get eaten by a shark already. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Like, no one cares.
So there was an opportunity, I think. I liked the movie, but it strains to maintain a feature-length pace. If
Yes.
this was like a 45-minute episode of like an anthology show, it would be great.
They could have done a lot more. They could have gone, when they were in town, they could have spent a little more time. They could have had some characters that they built out there.
The
who
other
they might
couple on
run
the
into
beach could have been brought in. There was another vacationing couple that came to a bad end off-screen that he sort of sees the remnants of, which is a harbinger of what's going to happen to him and his wife.
There could have been much more built out of the other characters who then interact with them later on.
This married couple had a relationship with another couple, which caused a lot of their problems. You could have brought that couple out with them and just had more people and a bigger body count and sort of had some of those conflicts play out. But for what it was good, but you could feel the budget and the strain of 90 minutes. He's shooting things off screen.
The thing that there's a lot of National Geographic stock footage that they threw in there. I loved the the straight up stock footage. They weren't even trying to play.
Right.
They were just like, oh yeah, different time of day. Here you go, kangaroo going through the woods. Oh, koala. Yep, nighttime.
But I do think they do certain things really well. At the very beginning of the movie, they establish everyone's, each of the couple's relationship to nature.
Yes.
The guy's driving around, scaring birds, she's watering her plants. There's a nature show in the background. It's pretty much giving you, not a nature show, but like a television program, telling you about attacking birds, a la The Birds, and she just turns it off.
Yes, and
So there's
later
a-
on,
yeah.
she's kind of the harbinger of doom when she destroys the egg of an eagle.
Why in the name of God did you do that?
It's just an egg.
It's a living thing. What's the matter with you?
You know what's the matter with me.
You didn't have to smash it.
I didn't have to have an abortion, Peter.
Well,
After
she
it was
had
already
had an
gone.
abortion, so the egg...
And she aborts an egg.
Yeah, it was pretty heavy-handed, but it was good. So they do a lot of setup of man's relationship to nature, and the guy's name, I can't remember. He's good to his dog, but then he'll see a beach and a bunch of birds and just start blasting his gun and shooting things willy-nilly, Rambo style, and you know it's ADR because his dog is just standing there. And you and I know dogs, they're going to take the fuck off. You start blowing shit.
It is a bird dog, so it could have been trained, but it's not.
Cricket. So we got to talk about Cricket, man, because so the third part of this couple is their dog, and that's all I can worry about all the time is Cricket. And at one point in this movie, the couple goes, "Where's Cricket?" I'm like, "You're goddamn right, where's Cricket? I've been worried about that dog for 25
There
minutes."
are long stretches of this film where they never talk about this dog.
They're in the fucking jungle.
Yes.
They're like in Australia.
And my dogs would be going, here's the biggest question of this whole entire film. Who goes camping in Australia? Everything in Australia is trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And they actually show did you know platypus is fucking poisonous? A platypus is poisonous. People don't know that. Everything in Australia is trying to fucking kill you. These people decide to go camping. And his wife the entire time, she's a smart one. She's like, why the fuck are we going camping?
But the wife is a bad dog owner. She wants to ditch that dog immediately in the jungle. First she wanted to ditch it in the suburbs, next she wants to ditch it in the jungle. I'm like, girl, get Cricket in the fucking car.
Yeah.
So I like the sort of the slow build. I just wish they had more.
I
It
love
does
the slow
drag a little
burn.
bit.
I love the slow burn. I love the female masturbation scenes. I love the...
Well, that's right.
I love...
Very artful.
Yes, very artful. No, I think it actually was a well-done movie. Unlike the first movie that we reviewed, this is probably the worst shot movie of all three that we watched. It's so clunky. It's so... Oh, yeah, it's just... everything is lit very much the same. There's two lightings in this movie. Midday, midday. They're like, oh, it's first thing in the morning. No, it's not. No, I assure you, this is not first thing in the morning. This shit looks like the exact same thing as the midday. Oh, it's so like that. No, it's not. It's the exact same lighting as it was when you said it was mid-morning. So
I didn't know.
It's a crappy looking film, I will say, for the most part.
Look, man, if you tell me something takes place in Australia, I expect it to be sunny. This movie was sunny all the time.
It was
I
sunny.
didn't even notice.
And there was some surfing.
And there was some surfing. We gotta talk about that in the set, dog. Because the whole time I'm worried about cricket. I was like,
Yes.
fuck these people, man. Who's taking care of that goddamn dog? So at the end,
Yes.
great setup. He's all animals come to attack him at night.
Sea cows.
Sea cows.
come back to life.
Dead sea cows. Nature's just like, we fucking had it with these guys. So he's blasting shit at night, and he wakes up in the morning and realizes he has murdered his wife. Ooh, it's a good reveal.
Not just blasting shit at night with a gun. He's run out of bullets. He has
Harpoon gun.
now got his harpoon gun, which
Yeah.
almost hit his wife earlier in the film.
Foreshadowing. We talked about earlier, foreshadowing. Yeah.
Heavy-handed foreshadowing in this film.
There's two characters!
Everything is super heavy-handed in this film.
It's
Everything.
But it's Australian, so it works.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
know.
so the guy's an asshole, kills his wife, actually puts a blanket over her, look, if I accidentally kill my wife, and I hope she's not watching, I'm gonna start working on my story. This guy is gonna take her back with a giant harpoon sticking out of her to civilization. He's gonna do the right thing.
He loves his lady.
Not a bad guy. And then at one point he goes, get in the car, Cricket. I'm like, yeah, you better make sure that goddamn dog is in the car.
Yeah.
So then they're driving away, things go wrong, the car gets stuck. And
Cricket disappears again.
No. Cricket doesn't disappear. Cricket comes to the worst end of all. Australia, it's hot. He leaves Cricket in a car with the windows rolled up on a hot fucking day with a dead body and goes to get help. Never comes back. Cricket is still in that fucking car.
Yeah, Cricket's in the car?
Yeah, that's all I can
I
think
just
about.
figured Cricket disappeared.
No, Cricket was locked in the car.
I don't know.
Whimpering.
We'll have to see if the car door is locked or not. I'm gonna go back. We're gonna review the tape, see if Cricket is alive or dead.
Folks,
I
crack
am
the fucking
hoping
window for your
that
dogs.
Cricket is alive. But yes, it's a horrible ending to it. Interesting about a lot of Australian horror movies, it's always Mother Nature.
Right.
Mother Nature's gonna kill you. It's a great white shark. It's a weird rock that steals children. It's it's always some strange fucking natural.
Picnic at Hanging Rock, yeah.
Yes, it's always some strange natural thing that's gonna kill all of your children and your husband.
I don't know.
And so-
I enjoyed it. I thought the couple dynamic was really interesting and well done.
It was fun. It was a fun slow burn.
I would have, if they had a little bit more money, I could see spots to bump it up a little bit, but it had a great
Yes.
ending. And yeah, my only problem was that it was not a feature length story. It was padded.
Yeah, I would say it was decent. It was much more decent than our next film,
No
which
boy.
was The Fury. So,
Okay, so let's talk about the 70s, right? So a good horror movie should tell you something about the time and place in which it was made. The Fury takes place a few years after Nixon and Watergate, and when people don't have a high opinion of the government. As one character says in The Fury, if you see any feds, shoot them.
Yes.
No,
As you always
that
do.
is not the correct response.
Yeah.
She also says,
and actually, you know what? I'm going to grab another drink. You continue on with this with this synopsis. I'll be right back.
I can't do a synopsis of The Fury. It's so fucking mental. The milk of human kindness has dried up at the tit.
The Fury. The
Fury.
tale of a 62-year-old man continually dyeing his hair. it's extremely interesting. I don't really know. Like the premise of the film was interesting. Early on, I was hoping for something to be a little more overt in the explanation of this film, because reading the synopsis, I kind of knew what was going to go on.
Right.
But if I hadn't read the synopsis, I would have had no fucking clue what the point of this movie was until about 45 minutes into it.
Okay, I have a theory about The Fury. So, in the opening credits, it is based on a book, and the screenplay is written by the author of the book. If I were to look at the book, or Google the book if I had such time, I suspect that each chapter is narrated by a different character.
Hang on a second. Google this book real quick. Oh my God! You're right.
What?
It was written in multiple perspectives from each chapter. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the Fury.
Are we picking him after your Google search?
It was interesting. Yeah, no, it was, as you were saying, almost every...
Okay, so it's very episodic.
Here's
Here's the problem with the Fury is that it opens from Kirk Douglas's perspective, and then it switches to Amy Irving's perspective, and then it switches to someone else's perspective, maybe the headmaster at the school, back to Kirk Douglas. There's no central character driving the script, and
let me give you a quick time out there.
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas is 62 years old in this film. I just love the fact that he is a CIA agent. Like, they don't really talk about it. Early on in the film, very first scene, I'm part of the government. I've been part of a secret government agency for quite a while. And
that he's retiring from.
And I'm retiring. And suddenly, Middle Easterners are trying to kill him. Okay, maybe it's the CIA. Maybe he's been part of a covert, operation in the Middle East to overthrow the Contra. I have no idea. But, I can go there. Cool. Later on it is revealed that he is part of the exact same organization that he is now trying to fight against.
Is he?
Yes.
I couldn't follow him. So...
his partner, who tries to steal his child. So, early on, people try to come and kill him.
Right.
And steal his child.
Sure.
I'm waiting for some kind of special power to emerge.
They talk about the kid's special powers, but
They
they don't
talk
say
about it, they don't
say what
show
they
it.
are.
In this first scene, perfect time to show it. Show don't tell. Show the kid killing multiple people. Show the kid levitating his father. Show the kid doing something.
You have a talent that would shock the hell out of people. But it's a talent that also can be put to good use.
The entire movie makes absolutely zero sense. Essentially, Kirk Douglas worked for an agency who kidnaps special children, and yet Kirk Douglas has a special child and thinks his child will not be kidnapped by the same exact entity. As he's retiring from, it makes absolutely no sense.
This movie is a different movie every 10 to 15 minutes, and I have to blame all of that on the author who adapted his own book
it's almost
to
like
the screenplay.
The color of Kirk Douglas's hair in this.
They took my son away from me. They needed him, so they just took him.
So every 15 minutes, it's a new color.
But it's like Kirk Douglas's movie, then
blonde.
it's Amy Irving's movie, then it's somebody else's movie, and there's no. Every now and then, I'm like, what are we doing? There's no urgency to anything. There's no plot overhauling. There's no propulsion to the story. It just sits there as episodic television. It's like a 10-minute TV show. Dennis Franz, future Emmy-winning Dennis Franz, shows up as a cop who's driving his own automobile that he bought. He's in the uniform. He's driving his own automobile. They get carjacked by Kirk Douglas's character. Kirk Douglas's character finagles all the bad guys to blow up or kill themselves. So there's no more bad guys.
No. Please, can we stop for a moment and recognize the best acting job that I have ever seen, in which someone does a Lou Costello impersonation as they are driven around. This is the best eyeball acting.
That guy, I actually going to jump out of his head and do the Macarena. They were bug nuts.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I truly loved it. I hope that someday it is enshrined in a Hollywood star. Like on the Walk of Fame, it should just be the eyeballs from this film. Yes, the eyeballs of Dennis Franz in this film.
But that scene,
over someday.
that scene ends. Kirk Douglas takes their guns. He's got the car. He could just drive away.
No.
He could go anywhere. He could drive 10 blocks and leave the car. It's an
Sir,
unmarked car.
You don't know this Kirk Douglas man, do you?
So he tells the cops, "Tell the bad guy to follow me. Tell him to follow me."
To the pits of hell, as I drive this man's Cadillac into the river.
To what end? First of all, those cops never tell anyone anything. They never come back again.
No.
The follow me plot goes nowhere. Why
No.
drive a car into the fucking river that you then have to escape from when you can just drive away?
To show this man's amazing swimming prowess. In each moment of this film, they want to show how well Kirk Douglas can swim. The very first scene,
Yeah.
every vehicle in this movie, by the way, is
Ends up in
filled
the water.
with nitroglycerin.
Yes.
Every single every car, just nitroglycerin, like in the door panels and in the radiator. It's not even like coolant. It's just nitroglycerin everywhere in this car. They just rub it on the outside of the vehicles in this film, and if a bullet grazes it, it will explode into a mighty, mighty explosion. So a rather terrible film. I think it was probably the worst of the three, actually, and I pity the fool who watches any of these three films. But I would say if we were to recommend one,
I would say The Fury is absolute dog shit. And what shocked me is what good reviews. I did a little bit of research, and it got good reviews at the time. And I think
well, who did the Fury, sir?
Brian De Palma. And I think some of the post-Kerry goodwill carried over. I also think in post-Watergate, people were ready to not trust the government. So I think
It was a very anti-government film.
Yeah.
And
I think it hit at the right time.
which was not this man.
78.
1978. Bourbon companies putting out Elvis decanters so that they can commemorate the death of Elvis, who died of opioids. So not of bourbon or alcohol poisoning. So that's how
Not
you
for
can
lack
keep
of
selling.
trying.
That's how you can keep selling bourbon afterwards, as long as the person didn't die from that exact product. So, opioids, cool. Bourbon, not so cool.
So 1978, we had what was-
Interesting time.
gas was 68 cents a gallon. Average income was $17,000 a year, and you were born.
And I was born, so 40
So
years.
were these three shitty movies.
40-year anniversary of all three of these crap films. I highly recommend you don't watch any of these, but if you do, which one do you watch, Jason?
I think Martin's actually like half a good movie. I actually enjoyed watching Martin. Long Weekend, it's just a little too long, but it's not terrible. Like, I would recommend those two. The Fury's a piece of dog shit. Skip it.
I would go for Long Weekend. That'd be my number one pick. I think if Jason did not ruin the ending for all of you by saying what the...
It's a horror movie, guys. People die. There's two fucking characters in the movie. They're gonna
That's not
die.
who the characters are. Who's the bad guy? Is it going to be a shark? Is it going to be this alternative universe that you're
There's gonna be a
studying?
sea cow.
Is it going to be a sea cow who crawls up onto the... God only
Is it
knows
gonna
how
be
that
a
happens.
seagull?
So yes, join us next
Or
time.
a possum? There was an angry
Possum
possum. There was a
bites in the
misbehaving
fucking hand.
possum in Long Weekend. You're welcome.
Well, thank you for joining me for my birthday and for these three shit films. And Elvis, thanks for coming out as well.
Stay
Sir?
dead, motherfucker.
Cheers.